Being cut off by your own adult child is a trauma that has no name. It is a silent bereavement, a funeral where no one dies but everyone is grieving. You wake up every morning to the deafening silence of a phone that doesn't ring, a text that never comes, and a grandchild you might not be allowed to see. The questions haunt you. What did I do wrong? Do they hate me? Will I ever see them again? This cold distance feels like a punishment, a deliberate cruelty inflicted by the person you loved most in the world. The shame and confusion can be isolating, leading you to withdraw from your own life. However, Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who found light in the darkest of places, offers us a different lens through which to view this agonizing separation. Frankl teaches that human behavior, even when it appears destructive or hateful, is always driven by a search for meaning. When an adult child cuts ties, it is rarely a simple act of malice. It is almost always a desperate, clumsy attempt to solve an internal problem, a problem of identity, pain, or survival. By understanding the deep roots behind their cold distance, we can move from the paralysis of victimhood to the empowerment of understanding. Frankl's logotherapy invites us to look beneath the surface of the estrangement. It challenges us to separate our worth from their rejection. Today, we will explore the hidden dynamics that drive an adult child to sever the bond. Dynamics rooted in fear, trauma, loyalty, conflicts, and the struggle for self-definition. This understanding does not instantly fix the relationship, but it does fix you. It restores your dignity, calms your panic, and gives you a roadmap for navigating this wilderness with grace. Let us journey together into the deep roots of this distance, guided by the wisdom of a man who knew that even in the greatest suffering, we retain the freedom to choose our attitude. The root of survival, cutting off to breathe. The first deep root is the instinct for survival. This is the hardest for parents to accept because it implies that you are a threat. Yet, from the perspective of a struggling adult child, you might be. If they feel emotionally enmeshed, criticized, or overwhelmed by your needs, they may feel like they are drowning in the relationship. Cutting you off is not an act of war. It is an act of coming up for air. They are severing the limb to save the body. Frankl emphasized that every person has a will to meaning, a drive to live a life that is uniquely their own. If your adult child feels that they cannot be themselves in your presence, if they feel they must perform, please, or shrink to fit your expectations, they will eventually rebel to save their soul. The cutoff is a radical boundary. It is a wall they build because they don't know how to build a gate. They lack the emotional skills to say no or stop effectively, so they say goodbye instead. Understanding this root changes the narrative. You are not a monster they are fleeing. You are a force they feel too weak to withstand. They are intimidated by your power in their life. Recognizing this allows you to step back with compassion rather than chasing with anger. You realize that their silence is a protective measure for their fragile identity. By respecting their need for space, you prove that you are safe, which is the first step in dismantling the wall. The root of displacement, you as the safe target. The second deep root is displacement. Life is incredibly difficult. Your adult child may be failing in their marriage, their career, their finances, or their mental health. They are filled with rage, shame, and frustration, but they cannot yell at their boss without losing their job. They cannot ignore their spouse without losing their marriage, so they target the one person who has always forgiven them, you. You become the lightning rod for all their chaotic storms. Frankl observed that suffering often seeks a cause. When people are in pain, they look for someone to blame. It is easier to say, "My life is a mess because my parents damaged me," than to say, "My life is a mess because I am making poor choices." By cutting you off, they are trying to cut off the source of their unhappiness. It is a magical thinking, a belief that if they remove you, their problems will vanish. Of course, this doesn't work, but understanding it helps you not to take the blame. You are the scapegoat, not the villain. Their anger is misdirected. This knowledge acts as a shield for your heart. You can look at their distance and see it for what it is, a symptom of their own internal chaos, not a verdict on your parenting. You can refuse to accept the projection while still holding space for their pain from a safe distance. The root of loyalty, the partner's influence. The third deep root lies in conflicting loyalties. Often, an adult child cuts ties because they are in a relationship with a partner who demands it. This partner may be controlling, insecure, or simply different from your family culture. Your child feels caught in an impossible bind. Choose their spouse or choose their parent. To save their marriage and their daily peace, they sacrifice you. Frankl spoke of the tension inherent in human existence. This loyalty conflict is a tension your child feels unable to manage. If their partner paints you as the enemy, your child may eventually adopt that view to reduce the cognitive dissonance in their home. It is a survival strategy for their nuclear family. They are cleaving to their spouse by cleaving you off. This is incredibly painful as you feel replaced and betrayed. However, attacking the partner only cements the cutoff. It proves the partner right. See, your mother is controlling. The Franklian approach is to remain a dignified, non-threatening presence on the periphery. You respect their marriage, even if you dislike the spouse. You send cards without expectation. You signal that you are an ally, not a competitor. By refusing to engage in the tug-of-war, you drop the rope. Eventually, if the partner is truly toxic, the child will see it, but only if you are waiting with open arms, not an "I told you so." If something in these words reached a part of you no one sees, you're welcome to support the channel through the thanks button. It helps keep this space of compassion alive. The root of narrative, rewriting the past. The fourth deep root is the rewriting of history. We live in a therapeutic culture that often encourages people to view their childhood through the lens of trauma. Your adult child may be attending therapy or reading books that label normal parenting mistakes as abuse or toxicity. In their search for meaning and explanation for their adult struggles, they have cast you in the role of the abuser. Frankl taught that we have the freedom to choose our attitude toward the past. Unfortunately, your child is currently choosing a narrative of victimhood. They are sifting through their memories and cherry-picking the moments where you failed, while deleting the thousands of moments where you loved, sacrificed, and nurtured. This confirmation bias creates a distorted reality that justifies the cutoff. Fighting this narrative with facts, "but I did everything for you," rarely works because their reality is emotional, not factual. They feel hurt, so they believe you hurt them. The antidote is not defense, but validation of their feelings, not the facts. "I am so sorry you felt unloved" is different from admitting you didn't love them. It bridges the gap. It shows you care about their experience. Over time, this softness can crack the hard shell of their revisionist history. The root of shame, hiding the failure. The fifth deep root is shame. This is the most hidden root of all. If your adult child feels they have not lived up to your potential for them, if they are struggling financially, have addiction issues, or feel like the black sheep, they may cut you off to avoid the mirror of your eyes. Every time they see you, they feel their own inadequacy reflected back. You don't even have to say a word. Your very existence reminds them of who they should be. Frankl noted that shame leads to hiding. The cutoff is a way to hide. It is easier to ghost you than to face you and feel small. They construct a wall of anger to protect a core of shame. They accuse you of being judgmental to cover up the fact that they are judging themselves. If you suspect this root, the key is to signal unconditional acceptance. Remove all pressure for success or achievement. Let them know you love them for who they are, not how they do. When the fear of judgment is removed, the need to hide often dissipates. You transform from a judge into a sanctuary. The Franklian response, meaning in the waiting. Finally, we must look at your root, the root of your response. When cut off, the natural reaction is despair, but Frankl challenges us to find meaning even here. This season of estrangement is not a pause in your life, it is a part of your life. It is a spiritual curriculum. It is teaching you patience, resilience, and the ultimate lesson of parenthood, letting go. Frankl's concept of tragic optimism invites you to say yes to life in spite of everything. You can choose to live a beautiful, rich, meaningful life even while carrying this grief. You do not have to wait for them to return to be happy. In fact, your happiness is the best beacon to guide them home. A parent who is broken and begging is guilt-inducing. A parent who is whole and thriving is inviting. Use this time to deepen your own roots. Reconnect with your passions, your friends, your God. Become a person of such substance and peace that if your child ever peeks over the wall, they see something attractive. You are keeping the door open, but you are not standing in the doorway blocking your own light. You are living, being cut off by... Your adult child is a journey through a dark valley, but by understanding the deep roots of survival, displacement, loyalty, narrative and shame, you stop stumbling in the dark. You see the landscape clearly. You realize that this rejection is a symptom of their struggle, not a definition of your worth. Viktor Frankl reminds us, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Your why is your own dignity, your enduring love, and the meaningful life that is still yours to claim. You can bear the how of this silence because you know the why behind it. You are strong enough to wait, brave enough to live, and wise enough to love from afar until the season changes. If this video offered you a new perspective, please share it with others who might be suffering in silence. And tell us in the comments which of these roots resonated most with your situation. You are not alone.